Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. It is the day after the night before. It was a bit of a crazy week of tennis, and in the end, it wasn't Medvedev, it wasn't Djokovich, it was that man, Sasha Zverev. He claims his second ATP Tour Finals win in very convincing fashion, it has to be said. A straight sets victory, 6-4, 6-4. Against the Octopus, Daniil Medvedev. Yeah, what do you make of it, JG?
It was a good match. Zverev was just incredible. Served so well. I know we'll go through the stats in a minute, but that first serve percentage was so high, and the damage he was doing off the first serve was crazy. No one could stop him on the day. I think even Djokovic would have struggled, and it just shows. In the round before, he played him in the semis, and he beat Djokovic as well. So beating the number one and the number two to then claim the ATP Finals title is hard doing. We had Medvedev. He did it sort of the year before, beating everyone. And now this year, Zverev been very impressive and the deserved champion.
Yeah, and probably happy to stop the rot as well, because he had lost 5 in a row to Daniil Medvedev. Now he's finally proven that he can mix it with him, and maybe it was just a mental aspect of his game that he was just sort of going through. Now he really seems to be on top, and we've heard it many times through many commentators, everything, and they just say that he's just been in that sort of form this year, or the back end of this year. You don't really want to mess with him, especially on indoor hard court. Yeah. And that, I mean, coming into it, should have really been giving him more props than we were, really, to be honest, because we know if he does play his best tennis on indoor hard, there's hardly anyone who can get that serve back. And, well, Djokovic said this probably one of the best servers there's ever been in the game. And that's high praise from probably the best returner ever to play the game. So, well,
there's still a part of me, though, of what feels like when Zverev is playing like this, I just feel like Medvedev can beat him still. And we've already seen a few days prior, he beat him on these same courts. Went to 3 sets. In the group stage, there was in the same group. Medvedev beat Zverev on that occasion. I think the difference between the two was purely the fact that Zverev wasn't missing at all, and he was just on fire. And Medvedev, I don't know if it's a bit of fatigue or he's just making excuses. I don't know if you've got the quote there. There was a lot of quotes from him sort of after the match. Maybe we can just go to one of the Medvedev quotes.
Which one was it? There was one in here.
Here we go. So Daniil Medvedev confirming what was fairly evident during the match. He was tired and missing the spark, especially on serve. Medvedev is usually pretty great at managing his workload, but he probably missed a trick by going all out in the round robin stage. And that's a big point what you touched on the podcast against Yannick Sinner when he'd already qualified and gone through to the next round. Why did he go so ham in that one and have to play 2 tie breaks when it didn't matter if he won or lost?
I think it was a little bit of naivety there. Any other person maybe in other years would have probably just given that one up as a little bit of a gimme on that one. Didn't need to win it. I just thought it was a bit strange. He just battled so hard in it, almost always. And even when he had match point, I remember in that for Sinner, he still wasn't prepared to even let him have that. He was fought all the way to make sure he won that match, just because it was against the Italian crowd. It's like he's a victim of his own sort of success over being that sort of the party pooper when you're in the opposition's backyard. He loves that, and he was playing up, wasn't he? He was like, "Yeah, come on, give me a bit more. Yeah, what? I can't hear you. Smash down another ace." That was the Medvedev that we needed. That's against
what you were
Zverev.
saying was missing in the final.
Yeah,
we needed more of that.
It really was. That was the one thing, and it just seemed that I don't know where it's like his personality, his soul had just disappeared out of him in that final. And there was no pop. There was no. I don't know. It
I
didn't look
wouldn't say it was
loose.
that bad. It wasn't that
Nah,
bad.
but
He did enough to beat other players. I think you've got to put more praise on Zverev. Zverev was just incredible. He upped his game big time. I think that's actually the best performance I've seen from Zverev all year. I
it
put
was
that
up
up there
there.
with sort of the Olympics one against Djokovich. That was a really good one. He's had some really good standout performances. Done
Yeah.
great in the Masters. Obviously,
Oh,
great
yeah.
in the Olympics as well. It's just the Grand Slams. That's the next step now for him. How can he get on in a Grand Slam? Best of 5, of course. And that it sort of is the natural progression. We know how well he does in the Masters and ATP Finals. This is his second ATP final. You can see there, I think it's the ATP. They tweeted out the King of Turin.
Yeah.
Alex Zverev wins his first ATP Finals in Turin. Of course, he won one in London as well, defeating Medvedev 6-4, 6-4. And that's him with the trophy, celebrating.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, and if you go on to the next one.
Sure. Ooh.
So this is what I wanted to talk about. So I've exceeded on every single level, and there's one thing missing. I hope I can do that next year. Of course, alluding to the Grand Slams. Is he going to do it? That's the big question. He's certainly capable of doing it. I think Medvedev said, I think there's a quote there as well, too, saying that you have to win 7 matches in a row.
Apologies. I keep going down.
There we go. No, you just went back. There we go. This one. You have to win 7 matches to be a Grand Slam champion. Is he capable? Yes. Is he going to do it? We never know. So Medvedev, I was expected to the second part of the answer saying, yes, of course he's going to win it, but he didn't say that.
No.
Do you think he's going to do it?
I think.
And I'm talking about next year. I don't want to know about anything else. Will Zverev win a Grand Slam next year?
It's really tough to say. I know. I like the fact that you're pinning me on me for next year.
Well, because I think
there's part of me that.
Let's be honest. I'll be shocked if he doesn't win one in his career. That would be a real travesty. Sure. But next year, that's the question.
There's part of me that thinks no. I don't know why. I think that he still has a little bit to go in those slams. If he may prove me completely wrong, because I think Medvedev is just slightly ahead of him when it comes to like that 5-set match and getting to finals in the slams, like we've seen already. I think Sasha's just so close to it. All it takes is one like flick of a switch, and I think that he will be the next guy like Medvedev was. And I think once he's got one, I think it opens the floodgates for him. If I'm honest, and I think he gets a few more. Can he do it though?
I think he's going to win one next year. That's my prediction. I'm not going to tell you which one. I'm going to save that for the end of year show when we're doing our predictions. But I think he's going to win one.
It's very possible. I mean, I really hope that he can as well, because I think it makes it more interesting when there's more potential winners in the draw as well. Because we've got at the moment,
he's always a potential winner.
Yeah, but at the moment, you look at it and you go, well, Djokovich.
It's nice to have more former Grand Slam champions in the draws.
Well, exactly as well. That too. Medvedev and Djokovic are sort of on collision course all the time at the moment. Nice to have someone who's able to throw a spanner in the works, and it would be nice to see another one in there as well. So it doesn't make it that, oh no, who's going to get Zverev in the semi-finals thing. It would be nice to have at least a foursome, so you'd know there's going to be a tough semi-final for whoever plays who. So someone might step up. Who knows? Might get one of the youngsters, Alcaraz, someone of that who might have a breakthrough year, and we might see something like that. But they're nowhere near on the level of Zverev, Medvedev, and Djokovic right now. So
yeah, they're the three. What were clear, they're the 3 favourites going into this event. Me and you, we got sort of sucked into the trap of the number 1, number 2. I still feel like they're level above Zverev somehow, and I feel like this is harsh doing it on a Zverev podcast. But Medvedev, Djokovic, what we saw in Paris, that was a very high level. I'm not saying we didn't see that here, but it just seemed like Medvedev serving was a bit off, a bit fatigued, not his usual pop or swagger, whereas Zverev was just perfect, playing amazing.
Oh, it was great.
And he got the breaks early in the set and then just closed it out. And there wasn't really any mental fragility or anything, just looking very mature and solid. With that maturity, he can definitely win a slam next year. There's two. I still feel like the 2 people to beat though will be Medvedev and of course Djokovic.
I think the key thing, like you said there about the early breaks for him as well, that that really did come to his aid. I
Settled
think
his nerves, and he's just then confident, and he knows he's serving well. He's got the break. He just needs to focus on it. So he doesn't need to worry about really trying to make any indents in Medvedev's serve once he's got that break.
Think of the other thing as well, which was
He can
very
play with
apparent.
freedom.
There was no break points for Medvedev the whole match,
Yeah.
That's how well he was serving. And even when it got close and he got to a deuce, still didn't even give away one then either. And
Well, I think we've got one for that. So do you want to bring that one up?
Sure. Let me just try and guess which one it might be.
Here we go.
There you go.
So last 3 Medvedev matches without producing break points. And they've all came at the ATP Finals 2019. Wow. 2019, one against Zverev, one against Tsitsipas, and of course Zverev this time as well in the final. So it seems like he don't get break points very often in the ATP Finals. But when in 2020, he certainly did. He demolished the whole field.
Exactly.
But he's prone to some funny matches at the ATP Finals.
How funny!
End of year blues, maybe.
Well, the last two times that he did have that happen was when he didn't even win a single match in the ATP Finals. So that was probably just a bad tournament for him. His first time there as well, so maybe he had a bit of the Rublev nerves. The first Russians, first time in the tournament for that particular Russian, let's say. Rublev, I don't know. Maybe I think you've got to give him another year at least, and then he might start producing a bit better, because I don't think he's anywhere close to the level to win an ATP Tour Finals yet.
Yeah, nowhere near. Not right now. And it's weird because looking at Rublev 2020, amazing. Yeah. We was expecting bigger things. You'd have to say 2021 for Rublev has been a tad disappointing. Don't want to be too harsh, because I feel like he's at his ranking wise, his all-time high. He's moving around. He's still doing well in events. So he's not fallen off or anything. He's just not had maybe the year some people were anticipating. But you look at, say, the likes of Casper Ruud, and he sort of filled them boots, and some. I think Yannick Sinner as well has been really good. And there's been some really good standout players. I feel like even an Alcaraz now making sort of a claim for one of them little spots around the sort of the challenging pack as well.
There really is. It was just nice to have some different faces that were sort of filling in. We had the alternates, didn't we? We had we never got to see Karatsev, unfortunately, even though he did make the trip over. But Cam Norrie making his ATP Tour final debut, and obviously Yannick Sinner. It was nice to see him get a win in front of, give the Italian fans something to cheer about at least, because they didn't have much, unfortunately. Right, let me just move to the next slide. I'm trying to work out which way we're going with these. This one?
Yeah, this is a good one. So Medvedev, 8,070. Zverev, 7,255. The first non-Big Four players to earn more than 7,000 points during a season since the current ranking system was introduced in 2009. What does that say about the current state of tennis and these two in particular?
Well, it shows that they're leaps and bounds above the rest of the field for starters, and I think that was sort of clear. The only person I'd say a bit disappointed, and they could have really got there had it not had injury, would probably been Tsitsipas after his start to the year. Back end of the year was pretty terrible. As soon as he hit Wimbledon, I think it all went downhill from there. It was... obviously, he's now having surgery, and I believe
it went all downhill after the Roland Garros final.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Pretty much straight after that.
The Wimbledon thing just sort of cemented it and just made him feel probably even worse. And then the injury concerns have been since then. I think that he could have been up there, if I'm honest, if he'd have continued good form. But I just feel that grass court swings, when's he going to have a good one? And we're going to have to wait to see, is he going to be there in any sort of form in 2022? But I don't think we can speak about him too much here, because this is more about Medvedev and Zverev. I think it's great to see two players. I like the fact that Zverev's closed the gap on Medvedev, though. That's what I'm really happy about.
Has he, though? Because, he definitely has. But what I want to say about Medvedev, 8,000 points, but he's terrible on clay. There's a lot of improvement he can do in his game.
I still think he can, though.
Because is he really, let's think about the Big Four. They can play on all the surfaces to a good level. Medvedev, on the other hand,
I was just going to bring this up just to show his clay court.
He's terrible. No, bring it up. It's interesting to see. On clay, he's actually got a winning record, which is great. 5 wins, 3 losses.
Not many matches.
The year before, he played 2, lost 2. So they're not great, the record on clay. He definitely doesn't like it. If you compare it to his hard court form, it's just ridiculously different.
Yeah, exactly. It's just interesting just to see that form, though. I just thought I'd bring that up just because I thought it was quite an interesting one. Oh, where did I've just lost that stat? There it is. Yeah. I thought there was promising signs from Medvedev on clay this year, though. I actually thought that he won his first match ever. Yeah, won his first match ever at the French Open. I think he's a smart player. I know I said it I think I said it during the final as well. Even someone like Andy Murray. Murray wasn't ever really that good on clay, but he had to really work hard over the middle section of his career. And by the end of it, he was in the French Open final. He only just lost to Djokovich. So I think that could be Medvedev too. He's 25 now. I reckon we could see him in potentially a French Open final by the time he's 30, if I'm honest. Okay. I think I'm being totally honest. I think if he really knuckles down, stops complaining about it, and just tries to embrace it, and the way that the courts are going as well, because a lot of people say that the courts are speeding up and it's suiting bigger servers, may well suit Daniel Medvedev as well. So who knows?
Moving on to the next one. I just want to just address Ivan in the chat. He's saying he would love to call in. We will be doing call-ins for some of the live watch-alongs after the matches, just to hear what your guys' thoughts are on the match. We've actually got Gene in the live chat. He's going to be arranging that through the Discord. But on this occasion, Ivan, if you would like to say something specifically about this match, if you pop me a message on Twitter right now, I can arrange for you to have a few words, as long as it's about Zverev and the thoughts. Just find our Twitter tag in the description, ping me a message, and I can quickly get you in to have your thoughts.
There you go. Look at JG working on the ball. I like it.
If he wants to, it's up to you, Ivan. I know he wants to call in, but we're open to that. But just drop us a message on Twitter.
Why not, indeed? What a good end to the year. Just trying out some new bits and bobs. This one, Jose Morgado, the old faithful. He's saying the 10th ever player to hold it more than once. Sasha Zverev, that is ATP Tour Finals. And we've got here him with 2, a level with Hewitt, beyond Borg. Then we've got Becker on 3, level with McEnroe on 3. We've got Nastasi there on 4, Lender with 5, who's also with Sampras, and Djokovic. And out there on his own, there is Big Fed. He's got 6, and that one is safe for another year. Well, until Djokovic tries to get his hands on it potentially again next year. But we'll have to wait and see.
He's in good company, it's fair to say.
Yeah, very good company, especially Borg. If you're level with that name, you know you're doing all right in the world, don't you?
Yep.
All right, on to the next one. We've seen that one. This one was some words that Djokovic had to say just regarding Zverev, just about his tough year on and off the court. I know how much tennis helps me to grow, and I'm happy that it was Sasha's winning field this year. He's such a great guy. I can only say words of praise for him and his team. Well done for a grand season finale and a big trophy, Sasha. That's nice to hear. Big praise.
Nice words apart from the first sentence. I think the first sentence, if I'm honest, he should have just left it off completely. There's been a lot of controversy with him saying tough year on and off the court, as if to excuse some of the allegations. Of course, we don't really want to talk about it here now. We don't know all the ins and outs of the investigation. It still seems to be still ongoing. The one thing I would say is it definitely has been maybe a little bit ignored by the ATP. I feel like they've done a lot more in the WTA recently with the stuff with Peng Shuai and stuff, and rightfully so. Maybe they should have investigated this a little bit more thoroughly and done more about it. I don't think Djokovic really getting involved in that is necessary whatsoever. But listen, I'm not going to get into it right now. There's some nice words he said, and it is a big trophy. And the big man himself, respecting the fact that this is a huge title to get, I would say it is the biggest, apart from a Grand Slam. This is sort of like the fifth slam. I know some people say that about some of the other Masters, but I really value this one the most.
It's the most money and points.
It's not just that, coming from a Rafa fan as well, who's never won it. And it's a difficult one to win. Rafa never winning it. Zverev now with 2 of them. It hurts a little bit, I must admit, but you never know. Rafa could be there next year. I'm hoping.
It's his surface, really. This is built for Zverev to maybe win it another 3-4 times potentially. He could be top of that list by the time his career ends. I think it's really, really, unless they change the court surface, then I don't know. What have we got here? We've got this is probably what you were alluding to, with people saying Zverev's tough year off the court includes the fact he's under investigation. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to go into this. This is supposed to be more of a pod celebrating Zverev's achievements. But yeah, this was some of the backlash to the Novak Djokovic tweet, obviously. There's always going to be someone out there. And I just think, just let him have his moment. He's just won it. So we're just here to talk about the good times. So we're here to talk about the victory. Well, I'm sure if anything else comes out on that stuff, I'm sure we'll hear about it in due course. But let this guy have his day. It doesn't happen every day that you win a World Tour Finals. Don't know how much it was, about 4 million quid, or probably but topped up the bank balance.
I think it's enough for a nice holiday now.
Nice party or something or two gonna have after that, I'm sure. Not sure if you did he post anything on social media or anything, or has he just been keeping a low profile? Obviously.
I'm not sure what's happening. I know we've got Davis Cup coming up. Djokovic is going to be in action there, so he's not sort of on his holidays yet, and he's obviously going to do his most for Serbia. It's an honour for him to play for them and represent them. So we've got that tennis coming up. Aside from that, Ben, we're definitely coming to the end of the season, and what a season it's been. But the action don't stop there. We're going to be doing plenty more on Game to Love. We've got an end of season review like we did last year. That's going to be coming up with Gil Gross. So make sure to join us with that. We're going to be doing an ATP award ceremony, sort of talking about all of you guys and what we've been able to achieve on the channel. And of course, giving the awards to the players for this year. And plenty more, which we can't really announce yet. But one thing I would say is we are going to an event this Friday. So we're going to have some content surrounding that as well. So much happening here on Game to Love. It's the best place to be. Make sure you have subscribed if you haven't already, and like this video too.
Yeah, definitely. I sort of dropped the bomb on that one. I think it was on the watch along. I can't remember if it was the Friday night special one when I was doing the
Saturday
or the Saturday one. Yeah, when I was just
I think it was the start of Saturday.
Yeah, just to let people know what we're going to be up to, and we're going to be going just down to the Royal Albert Hall to check out some legends playing and get to go behind the scenes there, which is going to be really interesting. Some former Grand Slam champions there. Hopefully, we'll get to have a word with a few of them, and we'll be able to report back with some fun content, I'm sure. Yeah, exciting times for GTL.
Yeah, on the road as well. If you do have any questions for us to ask some of these legends, let us know in the Discord chat. We'll read through them, or in the comments to this video. If you have any questions for some of these tennis legends who are going to be at the ATP Champions Tour in the Royal Albert Hall, let us know, and we'll try and get your questions across to them.
We will indeed. No matter how bizarre, we will try and ask them whatever we can. That's for sure.
So to wrap up this podcast, the last thing I want you to clarify, Ben, Sasha Zverev, big trophy here. Is he going to be able to follow it up next year and win a Grand Slam?
You put me on the spot again. The more that you keep saying it, it's like you're trying to encrypt. Yeah, you're like corrupting my mind by. There's part of me thinking that it's possible, but there's another side of me thinking that he's still got a little bit to go. And I don't see him winning the French, even though, or Wimbledon. So it's really between the two hard court slams. And is Djokovic going to Australia? We'll go back
I think he can win Wimbledon, man. With that serve, yeah, I definitely think he can.
I don't know. I think it's his worst one, though, isn't it, Wimbledon? So I would love it if he did, but yeah, I mean, with that serve, he just has to keep it going for 7 matches. But for me, I think he's still got a little bit to go. We return of Rafa next year. We've got return of Team as well. He could be back, could be playing well. Yeah, I think that we might have to wait one more year potentially.
Anyway, let's wrap it up there. Big shout out to everyone joining us on this one. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and well done to Sasha Zverev. He's done it again. Big win for him.
Massive.
See you guys soon.
See you later, guys.
Sasha.